Next up, we'll go right to Tim Scott. You basically introduced him. Tim Scott, you out there?
Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
Yeah, man. How you doing?
I'm doing great.
Boy, you're looking pretty dapper.
Well, I'm feeling
Yeah,
pretty good.
yeah,
I'm
buddy.
feeling pretty
So,
good. I'm looking forward to cooking up some dinner out here in a little while, and
all
maybe having a
right,
little prime rib that I smoked up the other day. But
dude, it's a rough life being a king, isn't it?
oh, geez, like Dexter said, Mike said, 2 shakes, and then eat what you love to eat: bacon, steak,
Yeah.
burger. And I said, no way. And he said, yeah. I was the 4 to 6 energy drinks a day, probably 6 to 12 sodas a day. I wouldn't eat breakfast. Well, I kind of would eat breakfast. I'd eat a bowl of like a noodle bowl, those ones you just add hot water to, and I'd eat a little frozen pizza. And I'd wonder to myself, how in the world am I still gaining weight eating this little bit? And I knew I was getting a lot of calories and sugar from the sodas and stuff. But yeah, soda's always been a thing for me. And I love cooking, and it's one of those things where I remember as a kid, my grandparents had a plaque on the wall that said, "Eat, drink, and be merry." And it's to me that meant have the good foods, enjoy life, which
Yeah, dude.
I
I told
feel
my
like
mom
this.
today, Tim. I told my mom today. You know what? I don't blame my parents for letting me eat the way we ate or way I ate growing up. Did it kind of cripple me? Yeah, it did, but they didn't mean for it to happen. We're all victims of the agricultural revolution and the commercialization of, all the marketing, and it's all, we're all victims. But here we are taking back control. Hey, real quick, guys, I didn't ask what the passion of Cammie and Dexter were. I love to know what your passion is. If you could drop it in the chat, what is your passion? What do you have passion for? I know we'd all love to know. What about you? So, Tim, you're from Billings, Montana as well.
Yes.
Mike Haas, is it?
Ass.
Mike and Jamie Haas shared with you as well. And
Yes.
then what is your passion?
So my passion for the last 3 years has been a thing called Dad Camp that one of the pastors at our church brought to Billings from Indiana. And it's a camp that helps men get more relational with their children, gives us the tools to be better men and be the faith leaders of our families. And this year is the 3rd year we've done it. I went with my son, who's 11, and my daughter, who's 9, and it was each of their 2nd year. And an additional weekend, we did 4 weekends this year. The additional weekends, I took my 13-year-old, and she and I volunteered. And it's in the mountains in Montana. And after that weekend, I am shot physically and emotionally and spiritually. I'm like, my cup overrunneth, but physically and mentally and emotionally, I'm wiped out. And I got to thinking on the way home from that day of volunteering, because I thought I'd feel better. I thought I'd be less tired volunteering than I was participating. And I was even more wiped out because it wasn't just my child I was focusing on. It was this whole group of kids who we would take and shepherd while their dads were getting poured into, and they were getting with the tools they needed to be better fathers. And I was wiped out, and I just thought to myself, this is ridiculous. This is something I'm passionate about, not only for my children, but other people, and every dad needs to do this. And I can't do it if I can't get up and down this hill without getting winded, and I can't ride the zip line and all this other junk. And so it was a combination of, I want it for my kids, but I want to be able to provide other dads the opportunity to do this by being a better counselor type person for when their kids are when we're taking their kids, so that the dads can get poured into and learn the things that they need to do to be able to be that strong father figure. And so that's what I'm really passionate about. And this is exactly.
Pause there. I just want to say, I asked the right person. I'm glad I didn't forget to ask you about your passion. You touched me. You touched my heart. ER shredders, man, it's a lot of good people. I don't know how we're attracting people like this who dedicate portions of their life to these types of causes. But man, if the whole world all did their part, oh my God, like, thank you, man. Thank you for what you do. Thank you for sharing that. real quick, you guys, I want you all to know about our friend there. Dexter said, I love window tinting, hot rods, and my firearm collection. All right. All right. That's cool. So give us an idea what unfolded for you on ER Shred there, Tim.
So Mike posted a post and he said, you know, who's interested in joining me? And I see him a couple times a week because his son and my son play hockey together. He's my son's hockey coach. And I asked him, what's this about? And he told me, and I said, all right, I'll give it a shot. Like Dexter said, I don't buy into the diets. I don't buy into the fads. Basically, I figure if there's a book out telling you how to do it, it's just somebody looking to make money, you know? and so I just
you get jaded. That's it. You get jaded. I know.
Yeah. And I wasn't concerned about my health as much as other people are. But I got to the point where, exactly like Dexter said, I sleep on my side. I'd wake up and my hip would start hurting. And so I'd roll over to the other hip, and I have a knee that I grew up wrestling, and I kind of have a knee that's bothered me for many years, and it was starting to hurt constantly. And my back, I'd have to lay on my bed and droop my top leg over my bottom leg and lay on my side and stretch my back muscles out. And I'd have to do that every other day, or else I would be so stoved up I couldn't bend over. And within that first shred, my back stopped hurting. My hips stopped hurting. My knee stopped hurting. I called a coworker of mine that's in Pocatello, Idaho, and I said, dude, I feel phenomenal. He said, what are you doing? I said, I'm doing this shred thing. And this was the second day of cleansing on my first shred. So I had cleansed one day. I was in the morning of the second day of the shred. It was about 6:30 in the morning, and I called him. I said, man, I don't know how to explain it, but my body feels not in a bad way, but you know how when your leg falls asleep and you have that tingle and your body just feels that sensation? I said,
oh, you came alive, baby. You're giving me you came alive. Okay.
Yeah, my brain was, I've had terrible brain fog the last couple years. I was thinking clearly. I wasn't tired. I was wide awake. I mean, I felt like I was on point, like big time. And I just told him about it. And he said, so what are you doing? And I told him, and he actually did a shred with us in November, and he lost about 9 pounds. And he's like, well, I'm where I want to be, but I'm probably going to do one in January. And he's kind of an antisocial guy. So he's like, I'll just do it my own, I'll just do it on my own. I think he's thinking he's going to get away from the products, but I think he's going to find that he's not going to get as good a results, but he's inspired. And that's one of my bigger challenges, is that I've inspired a lot of people, but they get right up to the cusp and then they hesitate. They get,
dude, listen,
they think
I
I
know
can't
the game, and it's 7 positive exposures to hey man, people have a right to be skeptical.
Yeah.
Especially with all the garbage that's put out there about meat eating and all the political garbage and social garbage and pressures. Hey man, 7 positive exposures to a concept or brand, and then they'll give it a try. So you just keep with it. But the cool thing is, that's why we don't sell. We don't believe in selling. We believe in, sharing information, educating, informing, and we believe in community support. But beyond that, we're just looking for fits, and eventually you'll find those fits. Trust me. Hey, listen, best thing you can do, be on Ricky Rivera, the Puerto Rican Mohican. Be on his call tomorrow night, and he'll share with everybody how he went through what you're experiencing, how he stuck with it for months, and how it's starting to pay dividends. So be on tomorrow night if you can. Hey, Tim, I got one last question for you.
Okay.
Because you've already shared so much. I mean, my gosh. Was it hard?
I have to say, it was surprisingly easy for me. The sodas, I haven't had a soda, let me scratch that. Have not had an energy drink since September 29th. So 2 days before we started the shred in October. Over Christmas at my in-laws for dinner, I wasn't really thinking. I went to the fridge, I grabbed a soda, I took a drink. I couldn't take another drink. I poured it out because the carbonation just, and it was a diet soda, and it was so sweet, and it was gross. And I went and I poured it out. I couldn't, my wife said, "Is there something wrong with that?" I said, "No, it's how it's supposed to be. It's just not for me anymore." And, you know, the eating part, I love cooking. I love grilling and barbecuing and experimenting on making things different. I actually grew up in a restaurant, was cooking on the griddle before I was in kindergarten, and sliding burgers to the side of the griddle and bringing them down with the spatula to check them.
Dude, like, I'm just saying, like, you and Paul Suppley and you and Ricky Rivera, you guys should all be friends, because they're the same way, exactly the same way.
Ricky and I are going to start a belt club.
That's what I was just about to jump in and say, Tim.
It's so fun, the friendships we make here in this community, you guys. It's so fun. The positivity, the vibration is so high. Cammie said it. Cammie, she actually just shared her passion with us, guys. I'm gonna read that in just 1 second. But she shared, you know, she said, "I go into the group to get uplifted." So, hey Tim, I'm gonna let you run in you know, consideration of time, but please go look at Tim's post. Tim was brave, and he put out a before and after picture post. It's on my wall. Tim, listen to me. Mad respect. You graduate to a superhero. Don't forget I said it. I do not say this lightly. I don't say this from a marketing point of view. There's no freaking way. Because as far as I'm concerned, what is more powerful than being where you were and having that quality of life and being that kind of a vibrational influence to your sphere and your family and your kids, and then you just say, no more, and you take back control?
53 pounds as of this morning. I weighed 260 pounds this morning. I weighed myself before the call. So,
my gosh.
And counting.
Woo! Way to go, brother. Look at that smile. Yeah. Yeah, way to go. If I was there, we could chest bump and we could all, you know, roar. Just, that'd be great, because it turns us into kids too. Like, if you notice that, it kind of starts turning it into a kid. Thank you, Tim. Man, Jesse, you got to